अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम अस्सलाम सर।
Walaikum assalam.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम सर।
I think start the
Walaikum
session.
salam, sir.
Sir, I think
Yeah, Dave sir.
we start the session, sir. Sir, can you hear me? Can you hear
बिल्कुल
me?
आपकी आवाज आ रही है।
Okay, sir. We start the session with the kind of protocol. Assalamu alaikum to all the faculty members, students, researchers, registered engineer, and professional engineer. I welcome all of you. On behalf of CPT core team, I myself, Engineer Adil Khan, PB coordinator, and Engineer Halar Mustafa, co-convener CPT activities. First, we start the session with the recitation of Holy Quran. So I request with all of you to please silent and listen carefully. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أعطيناك الكوثر فصل لربك وانحر إن شانئك هو الأبتر. तर्जुमा बेशक ए नबी हमने तुम्हें कौसर अता किया तो तुम अपने रब की इबादत करो और कुर्बानी दो, बेशक तुम्हारा दुश्मन हर खैर से महफूज रहेगा. सदक़ल्लाहुल अज़ीम. Today's Point 5 CPT webinar is on system architecture, deployment and subsystems architecture, traffic lights, UAV and IoT V2X application. This CPT webinar is organized with the collaboration of Hamdard University Main Campus Karachi, IoT Center Islamabad and Pakistan Engineering Council. Even today's CPT webinar is one of the series of CPT events that we will going to organize in future from the platform of Hamdard University Karachi, IoT Center Islamabad and PEC in future as well. Now for today's CPT webinar, we have a guest speaker, Engineer Dr. Tariq Javed, Chairman Biomedical Engineering Department, Associate Professor, Hamdard University Main Campus Karachi. He done his BE in Electronics and ME in Computer System from NAD UET Karachi, and he obtained his PhD degree from Pakistan Navy Engineering College Karachi campus NUST in 2010. He started his professional career at the IT division of Aga Khan University Hospital Karachi. Dr. Tariq served First Hamdard University Karachi since 2015. His research interests are digital image processing, embedded systems, fuzzy systems, information security, etc. Now I request with Dr. Tariq Javed to please start today's CPD session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much. अस्सलाम वालेकुम everyone. Hopefully आप मेरी आवाज़ सुन पा रहे होंगे. Let me share the session slides first. Sir, may I request Engineer Adil Khan, sir, आप kindly allow me to share the presentation.
Yes, sir, I'm trying to share your screen.
Let me know when I can share. Okay, thank you very much. Can we have the slide mode, presentation mode? Can we have in presentation mode?
Sir, actually it's shared by my screen.
मुझे अलाउ कर दीजिए, मैं अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर कर लेता हूँ. आप में जाके शेयरिंग अलाउ कर दीजिए.
सर दोबारा रिपीट करिएगा.
सिक्योरिटी के ऑप्शन में ये नीचे सिक्योरिटी होगा जूम के अंदर, वहाँ पे पार्टिसिपेंट कैन शेयर इनेबल कर दीजिए.
Security option. Sir, can please
आप
can you
अपना
share?
शेयरिंग बंद कीजिए.
Yes,
आप
sir.
अपना शेयरिंग बंद कीजिए. आप अपना शेयरिंग स्टॉप कर दीजिए.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Now I can share. Okay, thank you very much. I'm hopeful everyone in
Assalamu
this. Could someone confirm to me? सलाम. आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है और आप ये स्लाइड.
Yes, sir. Slide आपकी आवाज आ रही है, स्लाइड भी शेयर हो रही है. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So start with, we have already started the Talawat. So we have already started with the Talawat Quran, and first of all, I am thankful to Engineer Adil Khan and his team who actually gave me the opportunity to present some of the sections in real-time embedded system as well as in software engineering and signal processing and communication topics. So in this session, I am also thankful to the Pakistan Engineering Council and IoT Center Director, Faisal Siddiqui sir. I'm sure he's also with us. So in this session, we will learn about the system architecture decomposition into subsystems and how the interfaces primarily develop between those subsystems. So, and while doing these activities, I will come up with the following three examples. One example is related with traffic lights, another is with unmanned aerial vehicles, and another is the famous and now worldwide, everyone is primarily researching on the IoT part and IoT communication with the vehicle to everything. V2X stand for vehicle to everything. So let's start the session. The introduction, already we have the introduction. The session outcome is we have a brief introduction to the UML diagrams. Then we will explore some essential properties of a system architecture. When we talk about architecture in technology terms, we primarily deal with those parts of the system or the aspect of the system which is visible primarily to a programmer. So we know that a large project may have many teams, and these teams can come from multidisciplinary. For example, engineering team, and engineering also has disciplines: electronics engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering. Then sciences disciplines like software, computer science, and similarly, we have other disciplines which may be part of a larger system or product manufacturing unit. Then the organization of the models, the system models, and then the identifying the system architecture, then the components are the subsystem of the architecture, and the different interfaces between those subsystems, and how primarily those systems are primarily linked in a way to map the requirements. The requirements are user requirements or the system requirement. We will see the list of stakeholders, and obviously we will have some examples to further clarify and strengthen our learning. So an overview of the session is because of the projects have diverse nature, and we can have different teams, maybe a small project, one member project, maybe two member project, or more famous final year projects in academia, in which we have average 3 students participation as a team, working under the supervision of a faculty member, and hope today's emerging industry collaboration as well. So, but the larger systems, they have more primarily teams from different, emerging from different disciplines. And so the system has come as a parts from different departments or from different teams, like software team develop the software part, and the electronic team develop the electronic the part of the system. Similarly, the mechanical team, chemical team, and the other teams are also there, depending upon the size and the nature of the project. So the two aspects in this session we focus on. One is the decomposition into subsystem. The other part is how these subsystems are then linked through the interfaces. So these are the two primarily sections which we are working on in this session. So first we see the unified modeling language, in which there are many different kind of diagrams, and these diagrams primarily shows a particular view or aspect or component of a system. So these diagrams are primarily divided into two components. So one is called the structure diagram, and another is called the behavior diagram. Our purpose in this session is not to learn the unified modeling language, but our जी कोई कुछ कहना चाह रहा है? Any question at this point in time? Okay. So if no question, then we move forward. Only to list a few diagrams here, like in behavior diagram, they are further divided into different diagrams, like activity diagrams. We will see a few examples here. The use case diagrams and also the state machine diagrams. Similarly, there are other type of diagrams, like here the sequence diagram. And in structure diagram, we have the class diagram, component diagram, deployment diagram, and package diagram. We are interested in this section is on the package diagram, so that we can see a system in its subsystem forms. And similarly, we then move towards the class diagram, and also how a sequence diagram can be used to primarily generate a state machine diagram, because state machine diagram can be simulated in the form of a sequence diagram. Although this information looks too much for this slide, but I just want to recap this slide in few words, that there are different diagrams under the unified modeling language. In short, they are called UML specification. So these diagrams help us to understand the system and develop primarily a system. Moving forward, some common diagram elements, so that because this session include many diagrams, so we should know the different essential common elements of a diagram, UML diagram. So in block form, a diagram in block form contain the name of the diagram on the left top corner, then some notes and some constraints. Constraints, as you can see, they are enclosed in brackets, and also there is a frame which primarily shows the boundary of that system or that diagram type. We will see some examples. Then the second important component is a class diagram in the UML. Class diagram, as we familiar from the programming, object-oriented concepts introduces the classes. The modeling languages are primarily implement those concepts, although they have a significant difference between object-oriented programming language and also a modeling programming language. So in a class diagram, when it appears inside a primarily UML diagram, it may appear in one of these three forms. One form is just the class name is given. In another form, which is one way down, it primarily comes up with different data types, the attributes. These data types are primarily classified under attributes. And another, primarily the algorithms are the functions part, in which different primarily functions from the same class or from another class are presented. So when the class comes in this form, it may be referred as a stereotype because it can refer to other classes as well. So whenever class appear in a class diagram appear primarily, it can have these three forms. So the title is with the class name. So this in this slide, we can see a diagram in which the class name is given, the class with parts. So the name specifies this class contains a number of parts. So if we go inside this class, we can see more classes in which one is labeled as a component class, another is labeled as a part class. Primarily, the expert says they are both are the same, but inside there is also some different, because part class may contain the component class inside. So despite the differences, these are two different components which are also classes. These classes are linked together through the lines, and also they specify the interfaces. As you can see, they specify the interfaces. They can be linked directly, but they can also be linked through interfaces, and the definition of those interfaces appear on the left side. If we see on the left side that there the interface is offered with a bubble sign when this circle appears, so this interface is primarily offered by the class, and another interface primarily which appears as a semi or half circle, which is primarily a required interface. So, and the square, which primarily tells us that this is a port for communication purpose. So, the communication to the external and the communication to the internal actors. So in this diagram, we further explain the concept of ports, because it is important, as we have started with the session that two components, the two aspects we will focus on. One is the decomposition of an architecture into subsystems, or system architecture into subsystem architectures. The second part is the interface between those subsystems so that a system can work. So in this diagram on the left side, it is a standard use case diagram in which a use case is given. One use case or one scenario is given in which system will perform. And there is an outside actor, and there is also an inside actor. So the outside actor may be a sensor, and inside actor may be primarily a configuration inside the system, or primarily a function inside the system. So they can be represented through actors, and the diagram is like a human-like shape. So when we convert this into a class diagram, we convert it in like this, that we create a use case class diagram. Then we primarily draw another class diagram for the actor, outside actor. And then we draw another class diagram for the insider. And then depending upon the requirements, we primarily develop those interfaces between them. Like for the outsider, for example, the interface is offered by the user class, and the interface which is required by the outsider class. And similarly here we can see the insider class, there are two interfaces. One interface is through port 0 for insider, and port 1, and they are primarily connected to the opposite ports, that is the port 1 on this side and port 0 on this side, whereas the port 2 of use case is connected to this. The specification of these ports are not given at this point in time, but later it will be clear when we move forward in this session. Hopefully, the relation between a use case diagram and a use case diagram with class is now clear. That when we convert this use case diagram or use case which is given to us through the specification of a system, then we can convert it into a related class diagram, and that class diagram primarily become the architecture primarily of the system, which in this way contains three subsystems. One is representing the use case, and the two are representing the different actors. Now, we will learn about this example more deep in our next slides. Here, we can see a note. That note specifies this is a road runner traffic light system, and it specifies different use cases. So I start with this diagram with the configuration system use case. So a use case is specified with an oval shape structure or diagram in which the name of the use case is specified. As we can see, primarily the operator can use it and configure those traffic light system, and it will be one of the use case in which one operator or multiple operator can configure the system. Then we can also see another actor, which is a remote monitor actor, and it can primarily monitor the configuration of the system for this use case, which is the configure system. Then moving towards the second use case for this traffic light system, which is once the system is operational, it primarily manages the traffic. That is the purpose of a traffic light system. Then when it is on and configured, it should start managing the traffic. As we can see, there are different actors which are attached to this use case as well. One of them we already know, the remote monitor, and another is the pedestrian, the persons who are walking around and want to cross the road. So they are also one of the actors for this managed traffic, and another actor is a vehicle. So, but as we can see, vehicles can have some special types. There may be some priority vehicles. Similarly, there may be some emergency vehicles. So these vehicles are linked to the main use case through a sub-use case, which is called a special mode of the system. To enable that special mode of the system, something has to be included to the main primarily system, which is in the form of the sensors, which can sense the priority vehicle, which can sense the emergency vehicle, and then adjust the traffic lights accordingly. So to support this special mode, there are the detect vehicle option, where it should be there, and also there the detect pedestrian option should be there. So these two the subsystems which are part of the managed traffic use case should be there, and the sensors should be there to support this special mode. Once these sensors present and operational, they can primarily take care of the vehicles, and those vehicles as well which have some priority due to some security or protocol reasons, are the emergency services vehicles. So this covers a lot of this diagram. Now the remaining modes are there. One is the safe intersection mode. Another is the evening low volume mode. Safe intersection mode specifies all lights should be red when the system starts. or if something goes wrong with the system, then what system should do? Evening low volume mode, as we know that in evening or in night times, the traffic is very low. So if the traffic is very low, then our lights should flash, and there is also a responsive mode, and similarly the fixed cycle time mode. The fixed cycle time mode is primarily the all lights blink become on or off through a fixed cycle, whereas a responsive cycle mode primarily depending upon the volume traffic from primary or secondary roads. So they adjust the timing of the traffic lights, and similarly the adaptive mode. And so these are the different modes of the traffic light system. So although this diagram is very simple, only specifies two use cases and also a special primarily the other use cases, which are the sub use cases, can be considered as the subsystems for the primarily traffic light system use case. The purpose of this slide is to introduce the use cases. The system will come in example form in later slides. So moving ahead, now we will be moving quickly for a few slides before this session will end.
सर
जी सर, जी आदिल सर.
सर 5 मिनट बाद हमारा फर्स्ट सेशन पार्ट 1 एंड हो जाएगा, तो हम कुछ 10 मिनट की ब्रेक लेके देन पार्ट 2 शुरू कर लेंगे. इस तरह आपको रेस्ट में मिल जाएगा और ऑडियंस भी कुछ ब्रेक पे चली जाएगी.
Okay. So after 5 minutes we will be having a break. आदिल सर कितने मिनट?
सर 4 मिनट्स हैं. वी हैव 4 मिनट्स.
अभी 4 मिनट्स है, तो फिर 15 मिनट के बाद हम सेशन ज्वाइन करेंगे.
सर हाँ 10 से 15 मिनट में सर. आई विल शेयर द लिंक.
Okay, please. So as we can see, a system which is primarily the system capability, it is divided into number of subsystems: subsystem A, subsystem B, subsystem C, and subsystem D. There is also a system actor, and some systems have the subsystems. That means they also include subsystems inside. So this is a architecture diagram in terms of a use case. How the use cases are converted into the subsystem use cases. We have some. Okay, सवाल ये है, एक हमारे participants, one of the participants has asked about if this is an interactive session. We will primarily finish this session and then we take the question and answers. So this way the system use case is divided into the multiple subsystem use cases. So this diagram we want to learn in this session. How this diagram is created. This session is about creating this diagram. So as you can see, this system primarily is called the Roadrunner traffic light control system. This is just an example which we will be building in our next primarily few slides. So this is the name of the main class, and then it is divided into number of subsystems. One subsystem is the intersection controller, the controller which primarily controls the traffic. It contains an attribute, the start time. It contains two functions, because we know that class has the class name, it has the data types, the variables, and then it has the functions. So it has a data type which is primarily says when it starts, and it has two functions continuously running which are monitoring if pedestrians are arriving or if a vehicle is there.
And how this information is primarily coming to this controller is through these subsystems. The first subsystem on left side is the vehicle assembly for the primary road. Another is the vehicle sensor assembly, the sensors which are monitoring the vehicles on the secondary road. Similarly, there are subsystems which are monitoring the movement of pedestrian on the primary road and on the secondary road. Primary road is the road which is near to the traffic light where it is installed, and the other side of the road is primarily the secondary road or the secondary pedestrian. So we will see it in the diagram. Just to conclude the first session, that in this CPD session, we will learn this diagram, how this diagram is created, and what are the steps to create this diagram. This diagram has a title, number of subsystems. Those subsystems are linked through various interfaces, and we will be learning in our next Zoom session. So for this session, I am hopeful the overview is over. So thank you very much, and we will be shortly resuming the session.